Welcome to the Car Guys, and this week, bad news. This week's episode contains a gang of f***ing assholes who decided to jack up my beloved BMW E38 750i and cut off the catalytic converter. This is one of the most common crimes in the UK and increasingly around the world. Thieves are brazen enough to go on people's drives, literally rip out the catalytic converter and then sell it later on the black market. These people are scum. I cannot tell you how annoyed and violated I feel. It's going on all the time. So this week we're going to look at exactly what happened, what damage was caused, is it fixable, and we're going to look at what are the chances of the thieves getting caught with their limbs intact. We're also going to look at what catalytic converters actually do, why they're stolen, and we're going to look exclusively at the footage of the thieves ripping the one off of my car. So if you fancy wallowing in my misfortune and watching the footage of this crime taking place, let's get on with it. So what I'm going to do this week is I'm going to show you the crime actually taking place. We're going to talk it through as it happens. I'm also going to show you exactly what it looks like when the catalytic converter has been ripped out. I'm also crucially, and perhaps more amusingly, going to let you hear exactly what it's like when you turn on a car without a catalytic converter. So stay tuned for that. This is one of only a handful of times that crime has actually affected me, and it's a real shame that it's affected this beautiful car in the middle of its restoration. I am going to take you through many aspects of the restoration of this car over the next few weeks. We're going to talk about everything that needs to be replaced or fixed on it, and I'll go through that briefly in a minute. Catalytic converter theft is now becoming an epidemic in the UK, with consumer group Which reporting that thefts have gone up 104% between 2019 and 2020. But in the county of Dorset specifically, where this car has been located, it has been up 187%. And it's being driven by criminal gangs who need nothing more than a trolley jack, a cutting device, and a getaway car. It's a minimum of two guys, one to actually do the jacking up and keep an eye out, and one to do the actual cutting. Typically, the getaway car is left running so that they can get away quickly, but generally this sort of crime only takes a few minutes, and the rewards can be substantial, which is why it is massively on the increase. All new cars sold in Europe since 1993 have by law had to have a catalytic converter fitted. Catalytic converters are fitted to car exhausts to reduce the harmful gases, but to do this effectively, they contain precious metals, which makes them a prime target for theft. Specifically, this includes platinum, 3 to 7 grams of it, palladium, 2.5 grams, and 1 to 2 grams of rhodium, and that makes them especially valuable to thieves. Who knew that that bit of ironmongery slung underneath the car was actually worth hundreds, if not thousands of pounds. Palladium, for example, is worth around £1,900 per ounce, rhodium more than £17,000 per ounce, and platinum about £850 per ounce. That's a lot of cash sitting right there. And so as a consequence, the average cost of replacing the catalytic converter is £1,500 according to Admiral Insurance. And this high value and surge in crime is mainly due to the fact that precious metal prices in recent months have surged. This is especially true of hybrid vehicles which contain a greater quantity of those precious metals. So if you've got a Toyota Prius, you better watch out. But it's also the case for many Japanese hybrid vehicles from Honda and Lexus. Catalytic converter theft really is the modern-day equivalent of stealing lead from church roofs or copper piping. As you can see here in this footage from the Metropolitan Police, the car arrives sharpish. No doubt the victim's car has already been scoped earlier. Within seconds, the thieves are out and jacking up the car. The getaway car is left blocking the street. After less than 2 minutes, the cat has been removed and the car is dropped off the jack and they're away. Now, what's especially worrying at the moment is there's been a significant increase in catalytic converter theft from driveways right outside people's homes. And this is being driven by the fact that during the pandemic, a lot of people are working at home and those cars are not being left in dark, town centre car parks where they're easy meat. So thieves have had to start getting a lot closer to home. Very few houses have sophisticated security systems or CCTV, and since the crime only takes a few minutes, it's easy pickings for these thugs. And here's the big kick in the teeth for the unfortunate owner that comes down in the morning to find the cat removed. The problem is, it is illegal for you to drive a car that has no catalytic converter. So you're either going to have to get a garage to come out and fit one to you on your drive, or you're going to have to arrange to have it towed to the garage. All a lot of inconvenience, but as tempting as it is, if you see this going on, it could be very dangerous to try and intervene. Very often these criminals are armed, there's always more than one of them, and you could get yourself into serious trouble trying to take them on. But let's get down to business and review the actual security footage of the theft. As you can see, night has just fallen and it's started to rain. And what's this? A car drives straight into the compound, and from the shape of it and its light configuration, it looks very much like a dark colour Citroën DS5, just like this one. It circles around and reverses into position, almost as if they've already spotted the car in daylight. Some of the thieves exit the vehicle and head over to the 750 with flashlights. Unfortunately, due to an ongoing investigation, I can't show you the direct angle of the car, but just off to the left of this picture is where the 750 is located. Within a few seconds, the car is jacked up, the cat is cut out fairly brutally, and the thieves are rushing back to their car to make their escape. So one of the big questions, of course, is it fixable? And of course, yes, it is. You can buy catalytic converters that will work with this car. Is it a pain in the arse? Absolutely. Is it going to be difficult to source one? Probably. Is it going to be expensive? Yes, most likely. But thankfully, it'll be covered under insurance. Not mine, the facility that I'm in right now. Are the thieves going to be caught? Well, actually, in this case, there is a good chance, yes, because the gang concerned are in fact known to the police. We know exactly where they are, and I am sure this is just one of many cases that are being added to their list of crimes. And before we finish, how about some tips as to how you can avoid getting your catalytic converter cut out just like I did? Well, one of the obvious things would be to get all the junk out of the garage and put your car in the garage. Most people don't bother to do that. They leave the car on the drive, even though they've got a perfectly good garage right in front of them. Maybe now's the time to reconsider. Also, if you're parking on the street, don't be tempted to put one side of the car up on the curb, because that just makes it even easier for the criminals to jack up the car. And if it's possible and financially prudent to do so, put up some security cameras, put some warnings up, have some security lights that come on, anything to deter people coming on your drive and doing things they shouldn't. Now, as a prelude to the restoration episodes which are coming on my E38 BMW, I thought I would take you briefly through what needs to be done. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that it used to be blue thanks to a wrap, a midnight blue 3M wrap. But as you can see here, we've had a good old go removing most of it. So there's going to be an episode talking exactly about what it takes to remove a wrap from a car, how to do it properly, how not to damage the paint, and how you actually then detail the car afterwards to bring the paint up to perfect condition. We left this door just to show you exactly the stark contrast, and as you can see, I'm taking it back to its original silver. Now, other things that need to be done with this car: needs a full proper detail to get rid of all the gunk and to bring all of the chrome up to speed and make it nice and shiny. Needs new wheel caps, little refurb on the wheels itself. Now, mechanically, this car is in pretty good order. It will need a full service because it's not had one for a couple of years, and it's going to need an MOT so that I can drive it on the road again. Cosmetically, though, this is where most of the work needs to be done. You can see the BMW badge here on the front is kind of faded and worn away. That's just from being exposed to the elements. The paintwork needs to obviously be brought back up to showroom condition. Inside probably needs a bit of a clean, bit of a tidy up. It's not too bad overall, but there's probably a little bit of mold in there that we need to fix. The rear near side window needs a little bit of adjustment on the regulator because it's not quite closing properly. We've also got a severely cracked windscreen, so we've got to get that replaced. It needs an entirely new passenger side wing mirror because that was torn off by a lorry on the motorway. And as you can see here, we need to do some replacement of some of the strips. Nothing major, nothing too costly, and before long, this will be back to its former glory, before I got hold of it. And now I know the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's see what a car sounds like without the catalytic converter. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this episode on my misfortune and having the catalytic converter stolen and the resultant pain that that has caused. But hopefully through this sad incident, we've helped to improve your security situation and made you more aware of this extremely common crime. Thank you for watching this episode on the theft of the catalytic converter from my BMW 750 and what we're going to do about it. We're also going to do a full ongoing series with the restoration of this car, so please stay tuned for that if you're interested. If you like what we're doing on The Car Guys, please subscribe, leave comments and likes, and there'll be another episode next week.